make sure I can get this going. All right. Okay, here we go. All right. So we've been doing Vice President Harris, and we did a couple with JD Vance, and we were doing Walls, but Trump is actually live right now. So we just gonna go into this right now because let's back it up. While we do, we just back it up, and we're just gonna go in because who knows what nonsense he's talking about. I came back, I was like gonna go over the Vegas one, but then I was just like, no. So hold on one second. Let me make sure we're good on YouTube. Let me make sure that we are good on YouTube. How's everybody doing? How's your Sunday going? Everybody good? All right. Let me just, oh, stop. Let's not do that. Let's make sure that we can, okay, so we're good. All right, so let's get into it. All right. Trump, what is he talking about? What is he talking about?
Because if we lose Georgia, we lose the whole thing and our country goes to hell. Because we can't have her be president of the United States. She's grossly incompetent. We can't let that happen. They're the ones, don't forget, who got Fani Willis and her lover boy boyfriend all jazzed up. This guy, the governor, you know what?
Okay. Already he's starting now. Mind y'all, Donald Trump is a convicted felon, right? And he's had a lot of trouble with various cases in various states, one of them being in Georgia. There was this whole thing about Fani Willis, whether or not she was given her partner like benefits and stuff like that. It was a whole thing. That was political theater for sure. But he loves to talk about Black women in the most vile ways that he can get away with.
She's an embarrassment to the state of Georgia. He's the governor of Georgia. He ought to do something. Many, many people, their lives have been, forget about me. Many people, I'm used to it. It's true. I'm used to fake crap that goes on with these politicians. But many, many
He the fakest one out there. I don't, okay.
People, their lives have been destroyed because of Fani. F-A-N-I, Fani. You have to pronounce it Fani. It's called Fanny. You have
what? Okay. This gonna be the leader of the free world because that woman will not call for an arms embargo. Oh God!
To pronounce Fani. I don't know how she gets. She should add a little U in there someplace if she wants people to call her.
Now he's talking about how Black people pronounce their names. Like, what is happening?
You know, her and her lover, right? Lover boy Wade. She hired him because of experience. Paid him almost $1 million a year for experience. He's got great experience. He never did a thing like this in his life. He knew nothing about it. The only thing he knew about was something else. He knew about that. That's all he knew about. He didn't know a damn thing.
I'm sorry, what?
Do you know him?
This man is out of his mind.
Have you ever met him? Yeah, a couple of times. You ever see the phone records, phone calls being made at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Look at the person behind her, the lady in the
phone call from her house.
She's like, really?
And he said, no, not well. I don't know.
This is what we signing up for? She's like, I gotta sit here.
I assume.
Listen to this.
He could straighten it out because his state has become a laughing stock over it. And you know what? I love this state. I won this state twice, in my opinion. Once I won, and I did much better.
So he's calling Georgia a laughing stock, but he then says that he won it twice. Okay.
Better the second time. And Bert knows it, and Beach knows it, and everybody else knows it. He could have ended the travesty with a phone call because I did nothing wrong, and neither did all of those good people that are being persecuted. People in their 80s, they signed something, because they see what's going on. I guarantee if I took a vote of this audience, if I said, what do you think? I won't do that. They'll come and indict you if you say that, right?
What is he talking about? What is he talking about? They'll indict you if you. What is he talking about?
Now they can say it. Stacey Abrams can say that she won the election is fine. But if we say we won the election, and we did, that's not fine.
Didn't Stacey concede her loss?
Hillary Clinton is still complaining about the election, even though she called me up that night.
Hillary Clinton is not complaining about the election, folks. Hillary Clinton is living rent-free in that head.
And conceded, but Hillary Clinton is constantly complaining about it. Nothing happens to her.
No, she doesn't.
Have two sides of justice, and we can't do it anymore. We have to get back to making America great again. We don't have time for this nonsense.
So, you think he's going to drop some policy?
I mean, Fani.
He doesn't have to. It's not like the Dems are.
A certain U.S. senator who had nothing at all. He's saying, why are they calling me? I won't use his name because I don't want to hurt him. But she wanted to indict, and somebody along the way stopped her from doing it. She had many, many more people. She was going to indict almost everybody that came into the state for a visit. But Kemp doesn't want to end it because he's a bad guy, he's a disloyal guy, and he's a very average
let's see if we can
governor.
get him past
Scam, and I will end the Biden-Harris electric vehicle mandate right on day one. It will be ended.
So there is no electrical vehicle mandate. I just want to make sure everyone understands that. There's no mandate. And he keeps saying that the Dems are going to require that everyone drives an electric vehicle. And that is not true. They are not that progressive, okay? So no, that is not happening. But he likes to say that it is because he knows that his supporters are not smart.
We will pass massive tax cuts for workers, and that includes no tax on tips, Michaela.
So the no tax on tips thing, Harris also said this, and so I think he had accused her of stealing it from him.
To further protect Georgia workers, I will revoke China's most favored nation's trade status. I will pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. If China or any other country makes us pay a 100 or 200% tariff, we will make
He said the Trump Reciprocal what act?
Make them pay a reciprocal tariff of 100 or 200% right back. You heard.
They have no idea what he's talking about. They have absolutely no idea what he's talking about.
Us, we hurt you. It's an eye for an eye. We'll take in a fortune, and they'll stop doing it before I even arrive at the Oval Office shortly after we win the presidency. I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled, and I will prevent, and I'm the only one that's going to do it, 100% will prevent World War III, which is...
How does he intend to end that war? If he's got a plan, why hasn't he shared it with the people that are in charge now to try to end it?
Which is very close to happening. I will restore peace through strength, and in my next term, we will build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our country, a dome like none other, like no...
So do you understand that we cannot build an Iron Dome defense system across the United States? I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page with this. Okay.
Nobody has ever seen before.
Okay. Everything that he says is what nobody has ever seen or done before. Welcome if you are joining me on YouTube or Instagram. It is Political Theater with Dr. T. We are talking about Donald Trump, who is live right now giving a speech. We're about 15 minutes behind him, but he's giving a speech right now, and it's ridiculous. Already, we are maybe 2 minutes in, and it's already ridiculous.
Will all be made in the USA, and much of it will be made in the great state of Georgia.
No.
And I will not cut 1 cent from Social Security or Medicare. I kept that promise 4 years ago, and I will keep it again. And seniors will not pay taxes on Social Security.
Now listen. He has been off message. He's been like doing these rants, these weird interviews. Like he's been doing these 30, 40-minute rants. They got to him. They's like, stick with the message. We're putting this shit on the teleprompters. Read the damn teleprompters. Somebody got to him because he is talking about policy stuff. He is talking about stuff he wants to do. He is talking more about this than Harrison Walz.
We are going to rebuild our cities into beacons of hope, safety, and beauty better than they have ever been before.
He didn't write that. So that's script. He does not know how to talk like that. So he's definitely reading off the teleprompter right now.
We will take over the horribly run capital of our nation in Washington, D.C., and clean it up, renovate it, rebuild our capital city so there's no longer a nightmare of murder and crime. We're going to stop the murder and crime. You go down from your state, you end up getting mugged, murdered in our capital.
Does anybody have statistics on how many tourists have been murdered in DC in the last, just give me the last year. Just give me the last year.
It'll be run tough and strong by our great police officers, but rather,
right,
we will become the most
what is
beautiful
murder in
capital
DC? Like, what is he
in the world.
talking
I
about?
should say again, but it's been so badly run for so long, I almost don't want to say again. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content.
That is all speech written. That is not off the dome. They are making him stick to this. I'm going to rewind this because I think you need to hear what the hell he just said. Hold on. Because maybe you missed it the first time.
Network. Thank you all.
Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. Oh, hell, did I fuck it up? Sorry. I might have messed up, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't know. I might have messed up.
And he said, no, not well. I don't know her well.
Okay, let's skip. Because it's live, and so it was jumping around. Hold on.
Lieutenant Governor, who's really great, Burt Jones.
Okay, well, let's skip again. I don't know. I might have messed up.
Yeah,
okay, well, anyway, it's a sister.
She loved her college, and she said, you saved my college. What was your college?
The illustrious Clark Atlanta University.
Oh, no. He done got somebody from Clark Atlanta.
And it was so impressive, and I felt so good because she really did. She really said, I said, did you like the college? She said, no, I loved that school. I loved that college. And that's what it's all about. But you are an incredible person. I think you have a tremendous future. I really do. And I'll do whatever I can to help you. Okay? Thank you, Dan. Thank you very much.
Look at the disclaimer. This video may contain potential allegations that might contradict or not confirmed by CNN.
But I do want to add on to some of the remarks that were made by others, and we do need to do our best to get the message out there. The fight is nothing if all we do is talk about it amongst ourselves. So with that being said, since you said you'd help me, shameless plug, if y'all need anybody to knock doors, make phone calls, wave signs, get people out to the polls, call me at Conserve the Culture. Because not only do I mobilize the HBCU students so that they may get this message, but I'm the best person when it comes to Black engagement in the Black community. And nobody...
Who? Who is she? Somebody go to Conserve the Culture and tell me, you know what? Actually, pause. She said, Conserve theculture.com. Did she spell it a different way? Because it go into a GoDaddy. Okay, wait. Conserve the culture. Oh, wait. No. It's not a site. I tried.
Nobody needs this message more than
You
my
said
folks. So
conserve
be
the
out there for
culture,
real.
right?
Are y'all with us for real? ConserveTheCulture.com for any and all inquiries. Y'all can follow me.
I went
Miss
there.
Kayla, baby. I'm going to give it back to Big T.
Big T. Conserve the culture is not real. Is there another way to spell it?
And last thing, make sure you
Does
guys
somebody
tune in
find it?
to my podcast dropping soon on the Patriots Prayer Network. Thank you all.
Did anybody find her website?
She's
I don't
great.
understand
Thank
what's
you.
going on.
That's a great person, great woman. Thank you
Big
very much.
T.
Thank you very much. From the moment we take back the White House from Kamala and Crooked Joe, and he's crooked as a $4 bill, I believe we're going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. Starting on day one, we will end inflation
You
and
can't
make
find it
America
either, right? It's not a real
affordable
site.
again. We're going to make it affordable again. Thanks to Kamala Harris's tie-breaking vote here in Atlanta, you suffered the highest inflation of any city in the country last year. Good job, Governor. Great job, Governor.
Is that true? I got to fact check. I got to fact check everything he says now. Okay. City with highest inflation. It said Hawaii and Dallas. As of June 2024, Dallas-Fort Worth is the metro area with the worst inflation in the United States. This dude, he just can't even tell that
Kamala, the typical Georgia family has lost $28,000.
Murder is down in DC.
And to inflation.
Dallas had the highest inflation.
To bring down the prices of all goods. We will stop the Biden-Harris war on American energy. American energy is such a big deal.
You all can see how like he goes off script. Like when he's reading the script, he actually is annoyed that he has to read the script. He doesn't like this, and I know that about Donald Trump. He does not, as a public speaker, he does not like having to be on script. He actually resents it, and I know he's struggling right now because they're forcing him to stay on message. And they got to him, and they're like, "Look, you better say what the hell we write." But then he's always going to pause and want to freestyle.
We will drill, baby, drill.
That's
we'll
freestyling.
Get that number down. We'll bring energy prices down. Everything else will float with it. We will terminate the Green New Scam, and I will end the Biden-Harris electric vehicle mandate right on day one. It will be ended.
Okay.
We will pass massive tax cuts for workers.
Okay,
and that
this is where we were before,
no
so it's a little
tax
bit
on
repeated.
Tips, Michaela.
Yeah.
To further protect Georgia workers, I will revoke China's most favored nation's trade status. I will pass
we
the
saw
Trump
this. There's no
reciprocal
mandate. There is
trade
no
act
mandate.
China
That's
or
the
any
thing.
other
Like, there's
country
no
makes us pay a
mandate.
100
What is he
or
talking about?
200% tariff.
This is
We will
crazy.
make them pay a reciprocal tariff of 100 or 200% right back. You heard us. We heard you. It's an eye for an eye.
What are these
Taking a
two
fortune,
goofballs
and
in
they'll
the
stop
back
doing
doing?
it before I even arrive at the Oval Office shortly after we win the presidency.
What are
I
they
will have
doing?
the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled, and I will prevent, and I'm the only one that's going to do it, 100% will prevent World War III, which is very close to happening.
He's right about that. We are on the brink of World War III, which is why they want to put Kamala in there, so that she can fail miserably at it, so they can justify never putting a black woman back in office.
I will restore peace through strength, and in my next term, we will build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our country, a dome like none other, like nobody has ever
The
seen
dome shit is
before.
stupid.
And
Oh,
it
okay.
will all
So
be made in the
they said
USA,
that
and
she
much of
coined
it
the
will be
conservative
made
culture
in the
title, but I
great
can't
state
find her
of
website
Georgia.
outside of LinkedIn.
And I will
We don't
not
have
cut
one
one
yet.
cent from Social Security or Medicare. I kept that promise 4 years ago, and I will keep it again. And seniors will not pay taxes on Social Security. We are going to rebuild our cities into beacons of hope, safety, and beauty better than they have ever been before. We will take over the horribly run capital of our nation in Washington, D.C., and clean it up, renovate it, rebuild our capital city so there's no longer a nightmare of murder and crime. We're going to stop the
We don't
murder
need a
and crime. You
dome.
go down from your state, you end up getting mugged, murdered in our capital. It'll be
So this is repeating because I was trying to find my spot, but we have already debunked that murder is down in DC. We have not read stories. Excuse me. Maybe I missed them, but did anybody get any stories of tourists coming to DC and being murdered? I don't.
run tough and
No, he's not rereading. What happened was I hit the wrong button, and so it's repeating. I was trying to get back to the critical race theory thing, which I think comes after this.
strong by our great police officers, but rather we will become the most beautiful capital anywhere in the world. I could say again, but it's been so badly run for so long, I almost don't want to say again. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto the shoulders of our children.
He didn't write that. That is heritage. When they say transgender insanity, that is straight up from the Heritage Foundation. First of all, you can't do that. You can't just arbitrarily cut federal funding on day one by executive order to schools. You can't do that. And again, it's clear that the people in Trump's corner don't tell him what the role of the president is. But also, they don't teach critical race theory in K through 12. So he must be referring to college, right? And if he's referring to colleges, then he's saying that he's going to cut federal funding for any school that teaches critical race theory. You understand that critical race theory is taught in colleges and universities across the country. It's taught in law schools across the country, graduate schools across the country. Damn near all of them receive federal funding. So that's suggesting that you can't talk about race anywhere, or you risk losing federal funding.
And I will not give 1 penny to any school that has a vaccine.
You know what? That's really funny. Fiona, somebody said if he had only gone to a school that taught how the federal government works, motherfucker graduated from Wharton. Okay. At my alma mater.
Mandate or a mask mandate. And
He's not saying they can't teach it. He's saying you can't get federal funding if you teach critical race theory, transgender insanity, or any other racial or sexual stuff.
And I will keep men out of women's sports if that's okay.
There are no men in women's sports.
If Kamala Harris gets in, the travesty that is taking place at the Paris Olympics will come to America when we host the Los Angeles Olympics. And by the
What travesty is he talking about? The fact that the United States dominated the Olympics yet again, or the fact that all those black women were okay?
The way which I was president, we happened to get it. I was the president. I also got you a thing called the World Cup, which is coming very soon. I might as well say it myself because nobody else will say it. But I got them both, and you're going to have a lot of fun with it, I hope. Harris is a radical trans activist, and she is the candidate.
just said that Kamala Harris, the nation's top cop, is a radical transgender activist. And yes, he did just try to claim the World Cup. She's now a radical trans activist.
Of letting men beat up women in the name of tolerance. But you look at what's happening over in Paris, it will never happen here. I will never let it happen.
There's nothing happening in Paris. So what is he talking about?
I will get all males off your daughter's soccer teams and volleyball teams and get them out of your locker rooms once and for all. That's going to be cleaned up, and we will fight to make sure that the LA Olympics protects women and protects girls.
Embarrassing. Embarrassing. If I had any kind of kinship connection to this country or to white men, I would be so embarrassed.
I will fully.
Yeah, I know he's talking about the Algerian boxer, but we are not giving him credit. That's why I was like, what is he talking about?
Uphold the Second Amendment, and we will protect innocent life, and we will restore free speech in our country. We don't have free speech. And
they absolutely do have free speech. The Nazis are just walking and they're marching through Nashville. Okay? There's plenty of free speech.
Any longer. And very importantly, I will sue, and this is so, to me, so important, what we've been through in this country. I will secure our elections. Our goal will be one-day voting with paper ballots, proof of citizenship, and voter ID.
What is a voter ID? There isn't one. There's no such thing as a voter ID. What is proof of citizenship? We're going to have to bring birth certificates now? Naturalization shit? Like, are you kidding me right now? Are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, what the hell?
But until then, Republicans must win. We want a landslide that's too big to rig. Too big to rig.
There is nothing more riggable than paper ballots. Does anybody, you understand what I'm saying? Paper ballots would take weeks to count, which is fine. It takes 6 weeks to vote in India. That's fine. But he's talking about proof of citizenship to go and vote within a country where we can't even get 3 out of 4 people to vote. I think we had 66% of the population that could vote. The eligible voters voted. Nobody wants to nobody cares.
If you want to save America, get your friends, get your family, get everyone you know and vote. Vote early, vote absentee, vote on election day, do whatever you want, but you have to.
They hate early voting. See, this is how, when he goes off script, they hate early voting because early voting skews Democratic all the time, right? So they actually want to get rid of early voting. So for him saying vote early, did he say vote often? Did I hear that? I don't want to try to go and skip back because, you know, the thing been messing up, but it kind of sounded like he said that.
To vote. And if you want to help us ensure election integrity, please sign up protectthevote.com. Protectthevote.com. So
yes, he said absentee voting was fraud.
Marietta to
now he wants people to vote absentee.
Savannah to Columbus, from Augusta to right here in Atlanta. We inherit the legacy of red-blooded American patriots who gave their blood, sweat, and tears to defend our country and defend our freedom. We stand on the shoulders of American heroes who crossed.
I personally wouldn't mail my vote because his guy is still the Postmaster General, the guy he installed, who has like really ruined the Postal Service in the last couple of years. He's still in charge. So if you are able, unless mailing your vote is the only way that you can do it, please try to go and cast your vote in person.
across the ocean, settled the continent, tamed the wilderness, laid down the railroads, raised up those great, big, beautiful skyscrapers. One.
It looks like he's licking the mic as he reads, and it's making me sick.
2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and made America into the single greatest
He's so funny when he's reading.
nation in the history of the world.
He hates it too. He hates reading that shit. Look,
But
right here.
now we are a nation in decline. We are a failing nation. We
This
are a
is
nation
all-
that has lost its confidence,
All
lost its
Heritage
willpower,
Foundation talk.
and lost its strength. We are a nation that has lost its way. But we are not going to allow this horror to continue. Less than 4 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be.
Okay, less than 4 years ago, we had thousands of people dying every single day. Sometimes I think people forget that we were in the middle of a goddamn pandemic in 2020. Yes, it is very scarce in there. There's
A great nation again.
at the very least, they should have had all the people behind him. All those seats should have been filled in. I don't care if you pull people off the floor, you put them up there because that looks awful.
With our leadership, every disaster Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have created can be fixed, and it
I just want y'all to notice that he pronounced her name correctly after he just called her a fucking bitch.
will be fixed very quickly. Every problem can be solved, and every wrong can be rectified. By this time next year, America's borders will be strong, sealed, and secure. Inflation will be in full retreat. Our economy will be roaring back. It's gonna be roaring back.
He gonna add, one thing they like about him, they gotta let him add his little zingers, his little improv or whatever, because that's what they like about him. They like that he doesn't seem so stuffy. So I know they give him the words to read because he's got to stay on message, but they have to allow him to, deviate because that's what makes him appealing.
Optimism will be surging. The American dream will be thriving again for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. Law and justice will reign all throughout our land.
Inflation is down, correct. Inflation is already down. I was just remarking, I went to the supermarket the other day and had a full cart that was like $150. I've never had a full cart. Well, I haven't had a full cart that was only $150 in years. So yes, inflation is down, and I've been noticing it.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the worst administration in the history of our country.
That is not true. And so I know that he likes to speak in hyperbole, and he starts getting into that whole the worst of this and that. And no. Andrew Jackson exists, okay? I'm just...
will be a fading memory of the past. And our great silent majority, including the once forgotten men and women of our country, will be the one shaping America's magnificent future when I am the 47th President of the United States.
It was around 7% in 2019 to 2020 and is at 3.3%. It's down. Yeah, it's down. It'd be nice if Vice President Harris could get on a microphone and say that inflation is down, everyone. That they got to start addressing the issues that people have. Okay, all these stump speeches, it's the same shit every time. It's the same zingers, same jokes. We've seen them all. They have to start talking about what has been good during the Biden administration that she is going to carry on. We already know y'all going to continue with the genocide. You might as well let us know what other stuff you're going to do.
Because we are all Americans, and together we will show November 5th to be the most important day in the history of our country.
Now, y'all know me. What would you say that I think was the most important day in American history? Put them in the chat. Put it in the chat. Well, tell me what you think.
We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together we will make America powerful again. We will make
America is still powerful. We just gave $3 billion to Israel to blow up the school that they just blew up. We're still pretty powerful.
America wealthy again. We will make a Kamala economic crash. You can have a crash. You could also have a crash like in 1929, more specifically, because that's where we're headed.
Did he just say that Vice President Harris is going to cause another depression if she get okay?
Yep. When we win, you will rapidly see a brand new Trump economic boom. It's going to be.
Hold on.
Booming like it was 4 years ago.
I'm back.
With your vote, inflation will stop. The illegal aliens will be turned back. They're not coming in. We got to stop them. Did you see where she's now saying, oh, we had a very good border. Oh, great. They had the worst border in the history of the world. It's all misinformation. That's all they're good at. That and cheating on elections. They're very good at that.
Their election fraud is virtually non-existent in this country.
The cartels will be crushed. Crime will plummet. Incomes will soar.
The one thing about Vice President Harris is that she was actually good at taking on the cartels in California. So that's really interesting that they keep calling her a border czar, because when you actually look at what she was doing when she was in California, she was actually aggressively taking on the drug cartels. He can't even name the cartels that she was taking down. So if there is an area that she's really good at, and I'm not sure why they're going with that messaging, because that one thing that Vice President Harris knows how to do is be a cop. Okay. So she was actually really good with that.
Where the wars will end and the American dream will come roaring back, bigger, better, and stronger than ever before, right? Yes.
What's he pointing at?
Thank you.
He's high.
But with 4 more years of Kamala, the California socialist, you know, she destroyed San Francisco.
Calling Vice President Harris a socialist that is absolutely an affront to the Black Panther Party, which came out of Oakland. It's real socialists. Okay.
Then she destroyed the whole state. Look at what's going on in California with your family and our country. It'll never recover. If you have any more time with these people, it's already, I'm worried about the next 3 months, if you think about it. These people are grossly incompetent. You'll end up in World War III. I'll tell you. And I hope I'm not right about that. You know, you ever see the hats? Trump is right about everything. I don't want to be right.
I've never seen a hat that says Trump is right about everything.
Right about that. Her policies of open borders and double-digit inflation.
So this is actually, okay. All right. Well, you know when inflation was really bad? 4 years ago. When all you Mickey Fickies were running to Target to get toilet paper. And I realized, okay, this don't got nothing to do with this, but I realized this. I used to wonder, I was asking my friends, why are these white folks, especially, running to go get toilet paper and paper towels and things like that? Because I realized y'all don't have washcloths. Y'all don't use washcloths. And then you didn't think to use a washcloth. Okay, back to this.
Like we've never seen before. It's destroying middle-income families, working families, all families. Will demolish your life savings. 40 or 50 million illegal aliens will invade our country during the next 4 years.
So the language of invasion is really, really, really important in a fascist regime, in an ethno-fascist regime, when they start talking about, first of all, calling immigrants aliens, right? That's already, you know, the language of that. But when they start talking about invading and invasion, that is Nazi talk. That is any regime that you can think of that was ethnocentric and ethno-fascist, they use that language of invasion.
If they're in 40 or 50 million. Medicare and Social Security. She said she wants to put everybody on health care. That's wonderful. It's all wonderful. First of all, they shouldn't be told to come here. Many of them were fine where they were. But no country can sustain this. Social Security will buckle and collapse. The suburbs will be overrun with violent crime and savage foreign gangs. That's what they're doing. They're sending all their gangs into the United States, right?
What? Okay. Well, savage foreign gangs. There was an Albanian gang in my neighborhood in the Bronx. You think he's wondering about people from Albania?
Look, there's front row Joes. You didn't get into the front row. What happened to you? What happened? Thank you. We have front row Joes. They've been to 229 rallies. And then?
Let me find out he got rally groupies.
These, I call them the beautiful ladies, and you're not allowed to say that anymore. It's the end of your political career. You say beautiful.
He's like those men that they be like, "Hey, yo, shorty," and you look at them, you're like, "Oh, well, I can't compliment you no more." That's it.
You're barely allowed to say ladies, right? Because that could also be destructive. But they're beautiful, they're ladies, and they're great. And
it's like the whole "you can't say Christmas" thing that they say.
16 rallies from North Carolina.
None of this matters. Get to the point.
Happily married. I got to talk to their husbands. I don't know. Way over 200 rallies, and they're incredible people. Thank you very much, by the way. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All he wants is
together
adoration.
We will stop Kamala Harris's nation-wrecking.
Got to get back on.
When you see what she's done to our nation.
He doesn't know how to stay on track. That's why I know there's somebody in the front that's like pointing to the teleprompters. Get back to it, because if he's left to his own devices, he's going to go so far off the way.
She's wrecking our nation. The radicalism will take back our country from the worst administration in American history.
Again, I have to stress this to everyone watching. I know not everyone is, a history buff. Not everybody knows a whole lot about American history. But I 100% promise to you that the Biden-Harris administration is nowhere near the worst administration that the United States has had. Nowhere near, okay? Damn near every list that ranks presidents puts him in the bottom 5, okay? He don't like to hear that, though.
Biden was the worst president in the history of our country. She's acknowledged to be the worst vice president in the history of our country.
Put in the chat who you think was the worst vice president.
She doesn't have a clue. If she doesn't have a teleprompter, she can't even speak. Did you see her the other night? They put a camera in her face.
I know the hell he's not talking about somebody being able to speak without a teleprompter.
Can't even talk. We just went through 4 years. Let's not go through another 4. Can't talk.
Now she can't talk?
That was terrible. By the way,
talks.
I'd like to congratulate Vladimir Putin for having made yet another great deal.
No, I didn't just hear him say, I want to congratulate Vladimir Putin for making another good deal. Am I being punked? Is this ain't the real CNN? This can't be.
Did you see the deal we made? Now, look, we want to get people in. We got 59 hostages. I never paid anything. They released some of the greatest killers anywhere in the world.
I'm sorry, did he say that he got 59 hostages? Okay.
Some of the most evil killers they got, and we got our people back. But boy, we make some horrible, horrible deals, and it's nice to say we got them back. But does that set a bad precedent, Bert? Right?
One of the people you got back just won a gold medal at the Olympics.
Does that set a bad? Does that set a bad precedent, Bert? Harris has the most ultra left wing agenda of any presidential candidate.
Look how whoever's in the front row, get back to the teleprompter. I can't believe you just congratulated Vladimir Putin. Get back to the teleprompter. Oh, God.
Ever in history. There's never been anybody like
Oh,
this.
God.
She is considered more left wing than crazy Bernie Sanders. Look at her. She's worse than Bernie.
Ain't no way. Ain't no way in white Christian hell she is left of Bernie Sanders.
And she happens to be really a low IQ individual. She really...
Oh, heavens to Betsy. Okay. You don't have to like
She has a
her.
very low IQ.
You don't have to like her policies. You are not going to say that Kamala Harris is low IQ, but that is language how they talk about black people. That's their way of calling us the N-word, okay, by saying we are low IQ.
We don't need a low IQ.
He looks really confused. He's stoned, by the way.
President Xi of China said, oh, good, we have another one, a low IQ individual. They love dealing with low IQ.
He didn't say anything like that, putting words in the man's mouth. I hope he's watching this and he's like, you know what? I'm just going to point a bomb at his house for talking shit.
They love dealing with low IQ people, and they got them here. I'll tell you, we got them all.
Yeah, they're all supporting you.
She is terrible. She's worse than he. I think she's worse than him. By the way, they really took it away from the guy, right? I don't feel sorry for him because he's a bad guy. You know, he's weaponized the whole thing, and nobody's ever done that in this country. But he's a bad guy. But people feel sorry for him. They did a coup.
No, they actually did a coup. Okay, so right now he's telling the truth. We got to admit that the DNC staged a goddamn coup against Joe Biden. And if that didn't like freak y'all out, I don't think that freaked y'all out enough. And I guess I'm watching because it's all political theater to me because, you know, whatever. But I'm watching people get really excited at the fact that a government party, like a political party in the United States, stage a coup on its own leader. Like we stage coups in other countries. We did it here. And y'all let that slide. And I find that incredibly fascinating, especially when you look at who they're trying to install or who they have installed as his replacement. And y'all are not looking at it like that because you didn't want him. But I need you to look at the fact that the damn DNC staged a coup against its own leader, okay?
He just doesn't know it. But actually, he does know it. You know that. They said, Joe, you got 14 million votes. It's yours, but you're going to give it up. You're going to give it up right now, Joe. You give
What's 14 million votes? What is he talking about?
it up right now. No, I'm not. I was elected democratically.
He was.
I was elected. No, you're giving it up, Joe. We're either going to do it the nice way or the hard way, Joe. You're getting the hell out.
A coup requires military intervention or illegal acts to remove a candidate. You know what I'm talking about. Like, don't do that. You know what I'm talking about.
And it was the debate performance. So here's what happened in the debate. You know, there was the highest rated debate ever.
I feel like I need to start doing this with a fact checker. I think I'm going to invite somebody to come and be a fact checker when I do these. And you just, whoever that is, you fact check. Your man is high. No, he's high. He is giraffe pussy high. Y'all know when I put my giraffe gif, he's high.
And which was a great compliment.
Is it Adderall? Is he?
And as I left the debate stage, I took off because other people were entering the stage. You understand? I said, I don't want to confront other people. So we had a great debate. But as I left, CNN, I won't say who, but they said that was the single greatest debate performance I've ever seen. And this went on for 2 days. They were saying how great I was. On the third day, they didn't mention that anymore. They said he was terrible. I liked it the first way better. I made him choke. Don't kid yourself. We made him choke. He was
did.
choking like a dog. He was.
Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead just because I don't like when Trump starts talking about Biden and his stuttering and things like that. Like my mama had a stutter, and I hate when people do that because it's just really messed up. And a lot of folks on the so-called left were doing the same thing, and I'm like, it's not cool. If you understand how stuttering works, when people get really pressured, you know, it's not cool.
And he
It's
knew
not
what that
cool.
was. And within 5 seconds, he got off his shot. One bullet. Think of it. One bullet. And that was the end. Otherwise, you would have had many people dead. He did a hell of a job. And that was.
So I just want to remind you all that I do not believe that this was a legitimate attempt on Donald Trump's life. I think if you're using an AR-15 and you have a sight on it, you don't miss. You do not miss. Head turn or nothing, you don't miss. I don't know whether the head turn was a signal or something. I don't know. An AR-15, I've shot one several times. Your sight, boom, that's a shot, and it's taken off half your face. So I don't, I don't believe any of that. I don't.
It was from a very far distance. That was from basically about triple the distance. It was a much longer shot. So we want to thank him, and we want to thank all of the people in Secret Service for their bravery, because they were very brave. I mean, this was a bad.
This has nothing to do with his policies. Okay, so
But she refuses to.
Now he's back
even
on.
Say the words illegal alien or rat.
So he's got to get back to the prompter. That's what happened. He looked down, whoever's in the front, back to the damn prompter. Stop talking about the goddamn bullet because you didn't get hit and everybody knows it. So you can't use that anymore. Get back to the prompter.
Radical Islamic terrorist. She says nope. And the main thing.
Well, there's no reason for her to call people illegal aliens or refer to radical Islamic terrorists. She doesn't have to talk in that language because it's irrelevant to what's going on in our lives right now.
Think of this. She wants to let mass amnesty and citizenship. She wants all illegals to have mass amnesty. Everybody. Even criminals.
She does not want them to have mass amnesty. In fact, the Biden-Harris administration has been deporting people for the last several months, and it's been flying under the radar. They are deporting people back to very dangerous places like the country of Haiti. That's who we got in office right now. So I don't understand how they go with this whole border czar thing, wide open borders, amnesty, all that stuff, when they straight been deporting people for the last few months.
Criminals. Because many of them that are coming in are from prisons and jails and mental institutions, insane asylums.
That is absolutely not true. The majority of the people that are trying to come through the southern border are people that are trying to escape the terror of the homes in which they are living, and they're looking for a better life, just like his mail order bride.
They hate when I use Dr. Hannibal Lecter as the late great Hannibal Lecter. Oh, they go, look at all the.
Now here he goes with the Hannibal. Has anybody been able to find the reason behind him talking about Hannibal Lecter all the time? Like, I don't understand this. Anybody in the chat know this?
Back there. Look at all the fake news. That's a lot of fake news. That's a lot of fake news, Bert.
What's his obsession with Lecter?
But she doesn't want to get involved. Look, here's the story.
He's tired of this damn prompter, y'all. He is like, y'all stop telling me to read this shit. I'm going to say what I want to say.
When a politician says something young in life, that's where they are. That's what they believe in. Defund the police, all the things that she said. That's where she would go if she ever got the chance. She's never going to get the chance. Our country.
She's a cop. Okay.
Will be destroyed. She's worse than Biden. She's worse than Bernie Sanders. She's Bernie Sanders, but not as smart.
So we know what this is. This is his way for him to be disrespectful to a black woman. Any opportunity that he has. Well, one, a woman, because he loves talking down about women, but black women for sure. He absolutely hates black women. So he's now he's this is several times now he's talked about her not being smart.
That's the way I view her. I said she's a dumb version of Bernie Sanders, and actually further left than him.
She's not.
Supports mandatory gun.
Kamala Harris. Oh, sorry, Kamala Harris is right of Obama, and we all know where he was.
Confiscation. I'm sure you wouldn't mind that. Would anybody mind if they came into your house and took away your gun or your guns? Oh, I'm shocked. I'm shocked to hear that.
They're not going to take our guns. This is why Walz is the vice president, because he supports smart gun reform and protects the 2A.
She's for taking away all of your guns. The problem is they won't take them away from the bad guy. The bad guy's not giving up the guns. The good guys are going to, oh, well, yes, ma'am, here's my gun. Thank you. Now you're totally defenseless in your house. No, you can't do that. She said that a 70 to 80% tax hike is, quote, a bold idea that should be.
Okay. Harris does not support a 70 to 80% tax hike. I know this is why there's Republicans going to the Harris rallies and sticking up for her, because they're listening to this shit like, you got to be out your damn minds.
He discussed, oh, that's nice. She co-sponsored the $100 trillion Green New Scam. She wants to abolish all.
$1 trillion? $100 trillion? Okay.
Oil and coal and natural gas. We want to work on wind. We want to have wind blowing.
Wind energy is a great idea, you schmuck.
She vowed to ban fracking. She wants the government to stop people from eating red meat. She wants to get rid of your cows.
Okay, so now Kamala Harris wants people to stop eating red meat.
No more cows. No more cows. Oh, it's serious. You know, in Europe, you smile and you think about it. But in Europe, they're sort of doing it. They don't want any cattle. She wants to get rid of gas-powered cars and replace them with all.
The person in the front is breaking a nail right now. Stick to the prompter. Stick to the prompter. What are you talking about?
Electric. They don't go far. They cost too much. They're all made in China. Other than that, they're fantastic. And I'm for electric cars. I have to be, because Elon endorsed me very strongly. Elon.
Oh, God. I'm for electric cars. I have to be because Elon endorsed me. What is the name of this? Political theater. Okay.
So I have no choice.
Okay.
But he knows. No, I am for him. I'm for a small slice is a slice, but you want to have.
I agree. He would be funny if he did stand up.
Hybrids. You want to have every kind of a car imaginable. They want to go all electric, and there's no way you can ever. There's no way you can ever load them up. They call them loading them. You can't load them. We're going to have to spend $9 trillion in the Middle West. You saw they built chargers. Now a charger is a gas pump with electricity come through it. Is that good? So it's like.
You see how he talks to his people too? He's like, I know you're all about as smart as people in Romper Room, so I'm going to talk to you like that. And that's ridiculous. Like, how do you say out your face?
Like for 8 chargers, they spent $9 billion.
You said, are there any ramifications or any repercussions for him making things up and rambling? Well, in the last few days, they're really trying to get him back on message, because over the last few days, especially since Kamala announced and Walz was announced, he's been doing these like weird rants for like 30, 40 minutes, just talking about nothing. And he's been making like really ridiculous commentary. And there was a leaked video of him talking about her where he called her a fucking bitch. And, so yeah, they have to get him back on message, because he's shooting himself in the foot every time he opens his mouth. Except now they're starting to see that it's affecting them because they're having big name Republican folks are defecting and they're saying they're voting for Kennedy or something like that. Yeah, so it's really a big deal.
Is that a good deal? So at that rate, it would be $10 trillion to charge up the country. The whole thing is crazy, right, Mr. Preacher? She wants to get rid of two very special words to me. And I came up with this because I noticed when you went into stores, I used to go into stores. Now I wouldn't want to go into stores because they have everything under lock and key. You ever see they have bars up, they have glass up. I don't know how you can do business like that. I'd like to buy a toothpaste, please. Oh, wait till the clerk comes, 25 minutes. They open this heavy glass armored door.
Well, you know why that is? Because there's a lot of people in y'all's community that steal things to turn them and use them to get high. That's why they got to put stuff behind there. Now, in the hood, it's because they steal, okay? But they also steal in the white areas, except they're getting stuff that they could use for drug paraphernalia and to get high.
How the hell do you make money doing that? It used to be that if somebody robbed your store, you would be very tough about it, right? Now, Kamala started this. Anything under $1,000, you can do whatever.
Oh my gosh! Kamala Harris has nothing to do with items in stores being locked behind bars and glasses. Is he okay?
And these guys are sitting out there. You ever see them? They've got paper. Okay, you go ahead. Whoop, that's over that. Drop that back. Put that. There's no crime if it's less than $1,000. She's the one who started it. She is a lunatic.
Kamala Harris has not. She has not put any legislation out there. No laws, no policies. In fact, until a couple of months ago, she hasn't done a thing as vice president. So now all of a sudden, they know this person that they used to say, where is she? What is she doing? She's not doing anything. They used to talk about how she does not do anything. Now, all of a sudden, they are making her into the mastermind behind Biden Harris. Okay. And apparently, she's been making all these executive orders and laws and things. Okay.
She wants to get rid of these two very special words. You remember I used to bring it up all the time in 2016. By the way, we did much better in 2020 than we did in 2016. But
he's right about that. More people voted for him in 2020 than in 2016.
We did much better. They said, what was the difference? I said, well, we got millions of more votes, as you know that too. But we're not going to let that happen again. Ready? The two words are Merry Christmas. She doesn't want anybody saying Merry Christmas. Now she's
I mentioned the Merry Christmas thing. I didn't think he was going to be talking about it. I just threw it out there as an example. But I be knowing.
Denying it, and then they found the tape last night. She's such a liar. She denies all this stuff. She said, I was not the border czar. She was. The New York Times has a headline, border czar. She was the border.
Is there a New York Times headline calling Kamala Harris the border czar? Did I miss that? If somebody finds it, put it in the chat, please.
Border czar. She was the worst border czar. She was the worst czar in history.
The worst czar in history. Okay, let's just really quickly, just for the culture. Worst czar in history. Let's see. Ivan the Terrible. Okay, I was thinking about that, but Ivan the Terrible pops up as the worst, okay? I don't know. Okay, let's see. So 5 of the worst czars in the world. Ivan IV, Peter the First, known as Peter the Great. Yes. Anna. Oh, yes. Okay, Paul the First, Nicholas II, Tsar of the Romanov dynasty. Okay, so those are the 5 that the History Channel says are the worst czars. I don't see Kamala Harris's name there.
Kamala's radical ideas belong in a San Francisco commune filled with far-left freaks, but they do not belong in the White House. They do not belong in the United States of America.
I bet you Usha wrote that part.
This November, Georgia is going to tell Kamala that we will not let her turn America into a communist country. Remember, I used to say, we will never be a socialist country. Well, I was right. They skipped socialism. I was right. I was right. It will never be a socialist country. I'd say that. State of the Union, I said, we will not ever allow our country.
Oh, I just want to pause because I just want to let Fiona Simpson know that you don't have to be a Kamala Harris cheerleader in this space. I guess I need to make it clear to people that might be new to this or to me and my political commentary. I don't give a fuck. Okay, I just won't put that out. Okay, the only time I defend her is when there's misogynoir, and that's it. Or when people are just straight up lying. The rest is jokes to me. This is all political theory and I don't care. So you do not have to type all of that stuff in favor of her. In fact, it'll start to piss me off. So I'm just going to let you know that, okay?
To be a socialist country, I was right. It's gone communist. It skipped socialism. It never stopped. The train never stopped at the socialism world.
So now we're talking about communism.
The world of communism is many times worse.
It's communism.
Now that they've swapped out Biden, is he going to the Democrat convention? This is a big question. I'd like to go to watch Kamala get sworn in as they ripped it away from him. They took away his presidency. What do you think?
Well, no, he's actually still the president, just in case people forgot.
Mr. Congressman, you had a very good speech. Didn't he make a good speech? What do you think about ripping away their socialism there? What do you think about ripping away the guy's presidency, right?
He's off.
No, it's not democracy.
He just
Remember
looked.
the words they use? They are a threat to democracy. They've been saying that about me for 7 years. I think I got because of that, okay? People say,
no,
to democracy.
Do
No,
not.
I'm the one that is saving democracy.
Okay, prompter time.
They're a
Prompter.
threat.
Read it. Read it. I bet somebody's typing right now. Read me. Read me right now.
Thank you.
Read me. Come back.
That's nice. Thank you, Marjorie. No, we're saving democracy. Wow. I'm going to use that more often. I've never used that before. I'm always hitting them. I should say instead, I'm going to save democracy and get a nice thing.
There's no democracy to save.
It is true, though. Certain phrases get amazing response, like, I will keep men out of women's sports. Now you find out I'm right. I used to use the barbells. I said, now all you have to do is look at the boxers. This young girl from Italy, a champion boxer, she got hit so hard she didn't know what the hell hit her.
Oh, here he goes.
It's a person that transitioned. He was a good male boxer. Yeah. He was a good male boxer.
Oh my gosh. So now he's perpetuating the lie that is her name Iman? I read it as Iman. Is it pronounced differently? That Iman was assigned male at birth. And this is a lie. This is not true. It is wrong. And so for him to sit there and go so far left is awful. I actually am going to skip ahead a little bit, you guys, because I can't abide that kind of stuff. I just can't. Let's skip.
Not stop. They should not stop. She said she was endorsing to fund the police. And she said, violent mobs, let the violent mobs keep going.
Now, so if Kamala Harris has ever said defund the police, I would be a champion of hers, especially with the arms embargo. She could throw that in and a permanent ceasefire. You want to talk about? No, I wouldn't, because she's still a cop. So I'm lying. I'm just being hyperbolic right now.
Let them keep going. We love what they're doing. We love what they represent. This is the lunatic that the fake news is trying to build up to be the next Margaret Thatcher. You know?
Now, how you go? Okay, now, again, not everybody pays attention in history, right? You know, but how you gonna say in one breath that she's the most radical person in the history of the United States, and then say that she's the next Margaret Thatcher? Are you dumb? Sorry, I'm not trying to be ableist, y'all. Sorry. But Nick, are you dumb?
You know, 4 months ago,
Sometimes I hate knowing things because it's so much easier when you are ignorant.
she was considered grossly incompetent by the fake news. Now they're saying, oh, isn't she wonderful? Isn't she wonderful? No, she's not wonderful. So we have to work hard to define her. I don't even define her. I just want to say who she is. She's a horror show. She'll destroy our country. For years, she has pushed legislation to strip police officers of any protection. They have no protection, anything.
Okay. So I've talked to a couple of people who had unfortunate run-ins with Harris when she was, you know, in California being the cop. No, that is not true of her, just so you know.
Thing they do, they get sued, they go bankrupt, they lose their house, they lose their family, they lose their pension. They ruin their lives. They want to ruin their lives. She was the worst at ruining police officers. And by the way, I have the endorsement of virtually every police organization in the United States.
Could somebody please fact check and let me know how many police departments and unions have endorsed Trump?
Almost every. And when I'm president of the United States,
he doesn't know who Margaret Thatcher is. Okay, folks, like we know this.
Again, we will never defund the police. We will only overfund. We're going to overfund the police if we have to.
So we're going to overfund the police. I'm actually going to write that one down. I'm going to write that down. We're going to overfund the police. I got to put that one in the pocket. I got to put that one.
I will always give our law enforcement heroes the protection, resources, and respect that they so dearly deserve. And like other Marxist DAs, and she was the first of them. She was horrible.
Marxist.
She was horrible. She had a very good friend named Willie Brown. I liked Willie Brown.
I don't with Marxism, but if she was a Marxist, I might vote for her.
He knows more about her than anybody's ever known.
You know what? So now he's talking about her and her relationship with Willie Brown, and he just made a sexual reference.
He could tell you every single thing about her. Could tell you stories that you're not going to want to hear. Like other Marxist DAs, Kamala supports abolishing cash bail, which means bloodthirsty criminals that just killed somebody can immediately leave custody.
That is not at all what that means. You would think somebody who is on trial and facing felony charges in multiple states would take a little bit of time to brush up on the law and how it works.
Go out and kill somebody else, which by the way, they often do. Under these kinds of woke radical left policies,
3 police unions have endorsed him.
Field, and your governor ought to get off his ass and do something about it.
Oh. Is he cuffing? He's said get off his ass and do something? Oh, Lord. Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Just a few weeks ago, two 13-year-old boys were murdered and an 11-year-old was shot while sitting outside their house in southwest Atlanta. In June, a 47-year-old man, a 69-year-old woman, and a 70-year-old woman were shot in the middle of the day, shot right through the head in the food court of Peachtree Center. What a nice name.
He has no idea what he's talking about. He's just reading the prompter. He don't even know if what he's reading is true or false. But he went back to the prompter.
Downtown Atlanta, where you can't even walk anymore. The shooter had been previously arrested 11 times, but they think it was.
Let me know if you're in Atlanta and you can't walk around outside. Let me know if you're in the chat.
24 times. He'd gone to prison for assault and armed robbery many times. Since I was president, aggravated assaults in Atlanta are up 17%, and there's a 20% increase in shoplifting and a 90% increase in overall crime.
Is there a 90% increase in crime in Atlanta since 2020? Do they understand what numbers mean? Numbers mean things. They do.
Murders are up massively. Murders, you go to the store, I want to buy a loaf of bread, darling. You come back, ma'am, I'm sorry, but your husband's been killed. He went for bread across the street. He's been shot to death, ma'am. Nationwide, there's been a 43% increase in violent crime since I left office, including a 58% increase in rape, 89% increase in aggravated assault, and a 56% increase in stone cold robbery. July 4th weekend in Chicago, 117 people were shot. 100, I'm not talking about.
So now going back to Chicago, right? Because Chicago is the conservative talking point to talk about how Black people cannot govern themselves and that we are the most violent people ever. And all we do is wake up and go on shooting sprees. That's that, you know what I mean? I put the buy a badge, please, just to say, you know, if you're at Instagram and you want to buy a badge because you are enjoying this, I really would appreciate it. If you are on YouTube, thank you so much. I have my Cash App and my Venmo up there. Definitely, if you want to, shout out to you, girl. Okay, just saying.
I'm talking about shot. Not aimed at and missed, but I can guarantee you that number was big. But 117 people were shot. Of the 117, 17 died. Many are going to be incapacitated. They're going to be working for the rest of their lives just to move. Many are paralyzed. Many of those people are paralyzed right now. Nobody ever talks about that. So 117 people shot, 17 died. Many very seriously hurt for the rest of their lives.
No one ever talks about
crime,
paralysis after being shot
all across our country. We're going to have just the opposite. You know, it's up to the governors and the mayors to run things. But with Minnesota, which was a disaster, Minneapolis, they crimes. Remember the CNN reporter? This is a friendly riot. Oh, please, I'd rather not use the word riot. This is a friendly get together. And behind him, the whole city is burning down. Remember that?
Okay, I'm sorry. Anybody from Minneapolis want to give me the exact date when your entire city burned down? If you happen to be in the chat or watching this, just if somebody could just put, you know, on YouTube, if you got it in the comments, when was the day that Minneapolis was burning? If it didn't burn on April 21st, 2016, then I don't understand. We're going to skip ahead because he's just talking nonsense now.
People up to vote. And if they do that, this country is destroyed. We've become a dumping ground for the entire world, and we're not going to take it anymore.
He's back on the prompter. Well, now he's off. He wants to freestyle right here. You can see him thinking.
Just a few months ago, right here in your state,
no,
I met with the devastated family. What a beautiful family of
he gets
Laken
off.
Riley. the brilliant 22-year-old nursing student, top of her class, who was out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia when she was assaulted, beaten, and horrifically killed. Her family was, I mean, look, they'll never be the same. Incredible family.
By who?
Kamala Harris let in the savage monster who murdered Laken Riley. He was an illegal alien who was in Border Patrol custody, but under Harris's policies, instead of...
What policies? Okay. What is he talking about? Okay.
being deported immediately and fast,
Okay.
he was set free into America. Please enjoy your stay.
Okay.
Laken's blood is on Kamala Harris's hands, and she was in charge of the border. But there are many, many people like that. Laken is not the only one. Kamala is responsible for the death as though she was standing there watching it herself.
You know, the interesting thing about this kind of language is that you can kind of look at the people and they know this isn't true, right? A lot of them. So some of the older, wonkier folks believe a lot of this nonsense. But like when you look in the crowd and you know, a lot of the younger folks especially, they're just like, this is not true. Can you talk about something else to get us excited? Like they want to leave, but they know they can't leave because it's going to look bad if they get up and leave because they're right behind the president. But they know that he's off his rocker. And it's got to be embarrassing. It's got to be really tough for them. You know what I mean?
She was responsible, and for so many more. 3 days after releasing Laken's killer into the United States, Harris went on television and lied to the American people, saying the border is secure. Quote, the border is secure. What kind of a politician lies to Americans about keeping...
I would like us to figure out what happened to all the children that kind of disappeared when he was in office. That's actually what I want to know. Okay.
In the border open while precious young girls are being assaulted and killed. And Laken is one where the press was, I mean, very strong on it, but there are...
Yeah, no, I saw that there was, you know, a situation. I knew that they were going to blow it up and act like it's that it's Harris's fault, and make it into this whole thing because they have nothing to grab on. Like the other day, Vance had this couple come up and they were talking about their daughter who overdosed in 2016 because of Harris's policies at the border. Like that's kind of the space that they're in. So for me, whenever he brings up a name or something, I need to know, you know, did this just happen? Is it real or is he making stuff up? You know, because that's just what they do.
Thousands of people that are being killed and being criminalized and victimized by these people that are pouring into our country. I call it migrant crime. We now have migrant crime in our country. It's a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime. And
it's not new. If you're going to suggest that people that are coming across the border are committing crimes, then that's been true forever, right? Like people who came through Ellis Island were committing crimes when they got here. So what are you talking about?
And it's vicious and it's really bad. Kamala Harris should not be asking for your vote. She should be begging Laken Riley's family for forgiveness, and Joe Biden never would mention her name.
Why are they giving him a standing ovation? He didn't say anything. Like he didn't say anything meaningful. He didn't say anything.
Remember when Biden wouldn't mention her name, then all of a sudden, because Laken was really, I mean, that was a big deal. That was a very horrible, just horrific.
Okay, I'm going to skip ahead.
Thank you very much.
Because he's still rambling. In fact, he keeps
Thank
going.
you.
Wow, let's just skip ahead up to this part. Why not?
Thank you. Wow. That's nice. Thank you, Marjorie.
The one thing.
Now we're saving democracy. Wow. I'm going to use that more often. I've never used that before. I'm always hitting them, I should say, instead.
Why does this sound like it's repeating? That's not good.
Fantastic. Thank you. And John King, Insurance and Safety Fire Commissioner. John, thank you. Great job, John. Labor Commissioner Bruce Thompson. Bruce? Thank you, Bruce. Public Service Commissioners, Bubba. I love Bubba McDonald. I love that name. I want to change my name. And Fitz Johnson. Thank
I love, okay, now he wants to change his name to Bubba?
you both. Thank you both. And Elvita, good. They did have your name down, Elvita. I would have been in trouble if I didn't pick, but I picked it even with. And Richard Wood, Superintendent of Schools, who I hear does a great job. Richard, thank you. Thank you, Richard. Pastor Benny Tate of the Rock Springs Church. Benny, thank you. Bernie Carrick. Does anybody know Bernie Carrick? Where's Bernie? Stand up, Bernie. He's the cleanest man.
No. We are going to move to this one instead because I can't. I'm telling you, I swear to God, y'all. Hold on, I'm going to share in a second. This guy, he is a Saturday Night Live. No, he is a Saturday Night Live sketch waiting to happen. I promise you. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna share this screen. Let's share this. This guy, it's goddamn Santa Claus. Look how he comes in. Okay, hold on. I love it. Like a coach that just won a game. Wow.
Wow.
I live in a van down by the river.
Hey. Wow. One more time for Tilly. Thank you.
This is Vegas.
Well, hello, Las Vegas. Now, I know some of you spent the week Googling Minnesota a little bit, and
he's been using that one too. I don't know who wrote the Googling Minnesota joke, but I want him to retire it after this.
figure out who these Minnesotans were. Here's the one thing I can tell you about us. We spend about half our lives talking about the weather. It's what we do. So I want to say thank you to all of the people since I've been here to remind me that it's a dry heat outside. So
keep your eyes on.
So's your damn oven.
Behind him, over his left
I'm
shoulder.
melting like a snowman outside.
Her
But
face, she can't hide her
look,
face.
this is incredible. And I want to say a thank you to a few folks I had the privilege of working with when I served in Congress. You have two of the best senators you.
All right,
A special thank you is for what I'm looking at right here. To every one of you who took time out of your busy lives. You didn't need to be here. There's many things you could have been doing. You chose.
We ain't got nothing else to do. Okay? We don't have nothing else to do.
You braved 108-degree heat. I can't even believe I'm saying that just to be here. And I have to tell you, I understand because of the heat, they had to shut the door early and turn thousands of folks away. But don't worry, we're going to be back a lot.
I'm gonna be back a lot. Yeah.
All the things, you got babysitters, you had to do everything. You came here for something bigger than yourself.
All right, I'm gonna
We're
skip
better
it.
than that.
Ms. Bill
And I
Clark-
said it, I want to be clear. I didn't call anybody names. I spent enough years in that lunchroom to know bullies when I see them. I just made a very clear observation that they seem to be really concerned about. I pointed out that taking away reproductive freedoms, banning books, raising the price of insulin, trying to hurt labor unions, nobody's asking for that weird crap. No one's asking for it.
Well, you know, the weird thing. The weird thing is that
Here's the good news. We do the work. This is about the future. We do the work. None of that's going to happen. Vice President Harris believes in those freedoms. She knows that every single person should get a chance at the middle class. She believes.
You know what is funny to me? I don't know. Have y'all ever noticed this? Maybe I'm tripping. They never talk about people becoming wealthy. Have you all noticed that? Like, they always talk about people being in the middle class. Being wealthy is not aspirational. It's not a message they want to convey to us. They don't actually want us trying to be wealthy because they want to keep the wealth. They want us to strive for a middle class. Has anybody ever noticed that? Have you noticed that?
Believes in something so
Because they know the impossibility of achieving that wealth for the majority of people.
beautiful. The promise of America. It's that simple. The promise of America. Madam Vice President, I want to say thank you for putting the trust in me to be your running mate. And I want to say, she has done so much. And with you together, it's reminded us about something. It's reminded us that this work can be about goodness. It can be about smiling. It's tough work, but we can be happy doing it. And Kamala Harris has done something that we will forever be grateful for her. She has brought out the joy in our politics.
Joyful genocide. Shout out to it. Joy.
Nevada, join me in welcoming the next president of the United States, Kamala Harris.
Now, she wearing the Claire's
Telling these tears going fall away, fall away. Oh,
wearing lavender.
that's one burning to flames. Freedom, freedom, I can't move. Freedom, cut me loose. Freedom.
You know, they was lying and saying that she was wearing a $60,000 necklace and she wasn't. So they was real quick to switch her over to wearing them glass beads from Claire's.
Freedom, where are you? 'Cause I need freedom too. I break chains up on myself.
She's losing weight too. I wonder if it's from the stress. You can see her suit doesn't fit her well.
And my freedom right in hell. Hey, I'ma keep on running 'cause the winner don't quit on themselves.
That suit is entirely too big for her. She might be losing weight, y'all. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit distracted because it's so noticeable. I'm sorry. I don't really like, I don't get into that much, but looks and things like that. But it's just kind of noticeable to me.
Hey, Nevada!
It was about 16,000. Yeah, 16,000 ain't nothing for her. $16,000 necklace ain't nothing for her. What was they mad about? But they swapped that shit out and put her in the glass from Claire's. They said, no. You're telling people that they can only reach the middle class. You cannot be wearing no $16,000 necklace when you go and talk to them.
Can we hear it for Tim Walz?
I love what she does.
Oh, it's so good to be back. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good
Got pearls on
evening.
today.
Oh, I see lots of friends.
Who added some highlights? She got a couple of highlights added.
Oh, it is good to be back. It is good to be back.
Say something. Ain't nobody touching her silk press. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You ain't gonna see a better silk press.
Thank you all. But seriously, isn't Tim Walz fantastic?
And I know for some folks, you're just getting to know him, and you've heard he's had many titles over his life: governor, congressman, dad, husband, coach.
She's gonna run the coach thing to the ground. You know what? Queen Latifah is a silk press queen too, and she actually has kinky hair. Kamala don't have kinky hair because her mama Indian. So Queen is gonna get it. She the queen of the silk press.
But in 87 days, our nation is going to know Coach Walz as Vice President of the United States of America. That's right.
Does anybody know? Did she get protested at this one? Like, is this gonna get interesting, or can we just?
And it is so good to be here with so many incredible leaders, including my dear friend, Senator Catherine Cortez Masto, in our country for workers' rights and workers' dignity. And I have to say, for years, I've been so proud to work by your side. When I was Attorney General of California, we worked together to crack down on wage theft. When I was a United States Senator, we fought together for paid family leave and medical leave.
We don't have it though. So like I that's something that I want to see. I want to see, like, I would love the first woman president, or the person trying to be the first woman president, to have, to be very clear that she is going to make paid family leave a federal mandate, right? Not leave it up to the states, not leave it up to jobs, but make it a federal mandate. That's important.
And earlier this year, right here in Vegas, we celebrated your historic contract win. And it is my promise to everyone here, when I am president, we will continue our fight for working families of America. Including to raise the minimum wage.
Minimum wage been $7.25 since when? It's still $7.25, right? It's still $7.25 more than what my ancestors made, right? Okay, just want to check. Now, when we gonna move it up?
And eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
So this is what Trump says she stole from him. Also, I don't think she mentioned this in other speeches. This is new. They're rolling this out, and it's good, but they're like kind of piecemealing things. And sis, I need you to give a speech, and maybe they're saving it for after the DNC. But you've been moving around a lot. I need you to give people policy points. Which is you gonna do? You watch the speech on social media. We already know what you're gonna say.
And about it today, I also bring greetings from our incredible President Joe Biden.
I have not heard her do that before. I have not heard her do this. Did I miss it? One of the speeches where she's okay. Maybe I missed it. That's kind of cool. He's still the president.
We love Joe.
But also, this is a fantastic tactic to remind people she is not the president. And so they continue to keep making her out to be like she's currently the president. But this is a very good tactical move to be like, I'm not the president. So all this stuff you putting on me, I ain't got shit to do with it. I bang my gavel when there's a tie, and I take trips with a fresh pressed, silky, flowing hair. You're right. Like, I'm not tripping about the suit. She's kind of swimming in it, right? Like, I'm not making that up.
And I know, I'm going to tell them what y'all just said. And I know we are all so deeply grateful to Joe Biden for his lifetime of service to our nation. And he's not done. And he's not done. So as I said, it's so good to be back in Las Vegas. The last time I was here, I stopped by the practice for the men's national basketball team before they headed out to the Olympics. And maybe you saw it on your phone, but just a few hours ago in Paris, they won the gold.
Join them with the chant. Join them. Say
And I
it.
got more for you. A few hours before that, our women's national soccer team won the gold as well.
Why did you join them?
USA.
There we go. Act like you're part of the people. That's what I want her to do. So one of the things I would work on with her team is to absorb those moments. When there is a community moment happening and people are doing that and it's positive, I would encourage her to join in because she already has this kind of reputation of being standoffish and disconnected from the people. So even something so simple as joining in, and if she were to like pump her fist and be like, USA, USA, that would make her part of the group and they would not feel so, but she kind of just stands there like she's presiding over the group instead of being part of it. And I think that's where she gets caught up in, sometimes.
So in one sport after another, Team USA continues to make our nation proud. So much to celebrate, so much to celebrate. So Nevada, we have 87 days until the election. 87 days. And here's the thing. But here's the thing. We know this will be a tight race until the very end. And so
And it should not be. Let's be honest, everyone. She should be running away with this.
not pay too much attention to the polls because we have some hard work ahead of us. But we like hard work.
If you join on YouTube, please hit that like button, like the video, lets YouTube know that you're here and that you like this content. So make sure you like the video on your way in.
Hard work is good work. And with your help this November, we will win. We will win. We will win.
Okay, getting a little better. Getting a little better.
Win. And I know we are all clear toward that win. We are all clear about what we are up against. As many of you know, before I was elected vice president, before I was elected a United States senator, I was an elected attorney general, and before that, district attorney.
So this is a good tactic, and I'm tired of hearing it because I've watched pretty much every speech that she's given, but it's a really good tactic to remind people that she can win elections, right? Because part of the controversy has been that, people feel that there should have been an open convention and that other people should have had the opportunity to vie for that spot. And people feel like she was placed in, right? And so what she's got to remind people is that I'm not just being appointed places, I'm actually being elected by people who have put their faith in me. And so she says it over and over, but it drives a point home. It's a very, very good tactic.
And before that, I was a courtroom prosecutor. In those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds.
Okay, I'm just gonna skip because I already, if you haven't seen one of her speeches, she's gonna talk about the cartels the wage theft of big corporations, and then she's going to make a joke about Donald being the type that she's used to, and we've heard it 43 times already.
Well, hold on. The court's gonna take care of that.
And so every time she talks about that, her and Walz, whenever they talk about that, the crowd starts to yell, lock him up, lock him up. That is awful for the DNC. You do not want your crowds at these rallies yelling, lock him up, because it's a throwback to what they were saying about Hillary Rodham Clinton, and that was not a good look. So every time she makes this particular joke, right, about Donald Trump and that she knows his type or whatever, it gets people to start with this chant, but then she's got to quiet them down, right? Be like, oh, no, it's, don't worry, the courts are gonna, whatever. But this, I would cut this segment out if it was me.
We just gonna beat him in November. We'll beat him in November. But I've certainly been dealing with people like him my entire career. For example, as Attorney General of California, I took on one of our country's largest for-profit colleges that scammed students.
I like her for that, because too many people, Black women in particular, have been scammed by these for-profit schools. And you have all these Black women running around talking about they got PhDs, and those PhDs are not worth the paper that they are printed on. And they have been scamming, and they've been found to be targeting Black people and women and exploiting people and putting people in hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt for degrees from schools that don't appear on drop-down menus.
Well, Donald Trump ran a for-profit college that scammed students. Remember that.
She don't even have to look at the teleprompter because she done said these. She's got to have the shit memorized by now. All right, let's go ahead. Let's see if she changes it up a little bit.
That being said, let's make no mistake, this campaign is not just about us versus Donald Trump.
Good.
It is about two different visions for our nation.
I almost know
One,
this by
ours,
heart.
focused on the future. The other, focused on the past.
Yeah. I feel like I could do this.
We're not going back.
We're not going back. Bring in.
We're not going back. And we're not going back because Nevada, we fight for the future.
You can tell the lines that she really likes, because she gives you a little razzle dazzle. If you're watching this on Instagram and you want to switch over to YouTube, go to my YouTube channel, Feminista Jones. I am streaming live there. If you are on YouTube and prefer to watch it on Instagram, you can hop over there. It is streaming live there as well. Your comments, and if you're on YouTube and you leave comments, I'll be more likely to show them on the screen. But here we go.
A future with affordable health care, affordable child care, and paid leave.
So this is about around the point where she starts her crescendo, and she starts really digging in to rev the crowd up. And so she starts talking about all the things that people want to have improvements of. But if you listen to her, she's just saying words, right? She's not saying how she's going to make housing more affordable. She's not saying how she's going to make healthcare more affordable, as in like we're going to put limits on the cost of certain treatments and procedures, because they can't do that, right? It's capitalism. They can't actually do that. And the problem is that people don't have insurance coverage the way that they need to cover the cost of these things. So when she's talking about affordable healthcare, but she offers no plan to get them to lower the cost of procedures or stop charging $700 for Tylenol and saline, that this is just empty. It's empty. It's just talk. Yes, we want affordable health care, but how are you going to make it happen since, okay, you guys did the insulin thing, right? And they fought you on that. That was a battle, right? What else you got? And that's what people want to hear. And I keep saying this every single time. I watch every single speech, hoping that maybe she starts talking about how she plans to do these things, because her website, last time I checked, I have not looked today, someone tell me, still has none of this stuff on it. It's just anti-Trump vibes, give me money.
We fight for a future where we build a broad-based economy where every American has an opportunity to own a home, to start.
Okay, so pause. She keeps talking about broad-based economy. About a good 75% of the people in her audience have no idea what a broad-based economy is or what that phrase even means.
Start a business and to build wealth. We believe in a...
She also said where every American can buy a home, and that's impossible. So put that out there.
Future where we lower the cost of living for America's families so they have a chance not just to get by.
What about people who are not in families? That's always an area where I think the DNC struggles, because they have to echo the conservative rhetoric about families and how families are the backbone of America and things like that. But what ends up happening is that single people who are child-free by choice, things like that, they kind of get left out of that. And as we can see from what's trending, you got to talk to single people more and the child-free people more, because people are opting out of marriage and they are opting out of parenthood. So the DNC has to be careful with that.
But to get ahead. Because look, while our economy is doing well by many measures, prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high. You know it and I know it. When I was Attorney General, I went after price-fixing schemes. And when I am president, I will continue that work to bring down prices.
I would like, since you are currently the vice president and you are working with Joe Biden, I would like you all to do that now. While you have the office, I'd love it if you could do that now.
I will take on big corporations that engage in illegal price gouging, corporate landlords that unfairly raise rents on working families, and...
No, you're not. And here's why. You guys could have been doing this. Like, this is not new. You all haven't actually done anything about it. And part of it is because of your Congress, right? So you cannot unilaterally do these things. And what she will end up doing, and we will hear it because I'm probably going to let it play until she gets to that part, is she is going to talk about reproductive health. And she's going to say something like, if Congress gives me a bill, I'll sign it, right? And that's the approach that she has to take as, the person occupying the executive position, because she cannot, well, she can actually, she can do all that, but then they'll come behind her and they'll get rid of all of it. So a lot of this is fluff. A lot of this is political theater. A lot of this is just a pep rally with no real substance or policy solutions and plans.
And take on Big Pharma and cap the cost of prescription drugs for all Americans.
That's not going to happen. That's actually socialism. They're not going to be able to do that. It sounds good, though. It really does sound good. Yeah.
Unlike Donald Trump, I will always, I promise you, put the middle class and working families first.
No, you won't. You will put first the people who pay for you. You will put AIPAC first. You will put Big Pharma first. You will put Big Gun first. You will put Big Tobacco first. You will put all the people who actually had the money to make it happen for you to get into that office. That's who you're going to put first. And I would love it if our political leaders would cut the shit.
Because you see, Tim Walz and I may not appear to have a whole lot in common, but we have so much in common.
I'm going to skip this because when she does this whole thing about her and Tim having a lot in common, it comes across as some of the most disingenuous shit I've ever heard. So I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit because I'm not high
He
enough.
intends to end the Affordable Care Act. Think about that.
So I don't know how he can do that. I hear people saying that a lot, and I just have questions about it. Was one, he didn't do it the first time he was president, and two, again, with the same thing with why her executive orders wouldn't matter much is because we have a Congress that'll come behind. And okay, anyway,
To take us back to a time when insurance companies had the power to deny people with pre-existing conditions. You remember what that was like? Children with asthma, breast cancer survivors, grandparents with diabetes.
okay, and I think what gets to me is that she will say it in the same exact way. So I'm somebody. Okay, if you're new to this, like when I do this, I'm looking at it as a person who's a professional public speaker, and as somebody who recycles speeches all the time. I mean, all the time. I've had people be at two different speaking engagements where I gave the same speech and they really couldn't tell because of how I remix and cut things up. So if you know that you're going to name these things that she just named, switch them up every now and then, or you get your team to talk about other pre-existing conditions. We don't have to hear about the breast cancer and the diabetes and the asthma every single time. Just switch it up.
Look, America has tried these failed policies before, and we are not going back.
We love that line. Like she loves that damn flat iron. Oh, she loves that line, y'all.
We are not going back. We are not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back.
See, that's what she needs to do every time. Join in with the group. Join in with the cadence.
We're not going back. And we are going to move forward. We will move forward. And in moving forward, we will take on the biggest issues facing our nation. For example, we will address the issue of immigration. I was the attorney of a border state, attorney general of a border state. I went after transnational gangs, drug cartels, and human traffickers who came into our country illegally. I prosecuted them in case after case, and I won. We know our immigration system is broken, and we know what it takes to fix it.
So I want them to put this earlier in her speech, because they are attacking her like full throttle attacks, calling her the border czar, and they are blaming her for tens of millions of people coming into the country illegally and all this other stuff. If I'm her people, I move this section a little bit earlier before people's attention spans start to fizzle out.
Comprehensive reform that includes, yes, strong border security and an earned pathway to citizenship.
What does an earned pathway to citizenship look like? Please tell us in the next 30 seconds.
But Donald Trump doesn't want to fix this problem. He talks a big game about a lot of things, but he talks a big game about border security, but he does not walk the walk. Earlier this year, we had a chance to pass the toughest bipartisan border security bill in decades. But Donald Trump tanked the bill because he thought it would help him win an election.
Also, J.D. Vance had the opportunity to vote. And what did he do?
Well, when I am president, I will sign that bill into law.
You know, Bill could sign it.
And the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do.
I love yelling that part.
A fight for freedom. And on that last point, we all know how we got here. When he was president, Donald Trump handpicked 3 members of the United States Supreme Court because he intended for them to undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And as he intended, they did.
Well, you know, if Ruth, okay, we're not going to talk about RBG. We're not, because my pressure ain't going to go up.
Now, in more than 20 states, there is a Trump abortion ban. Many with no exceptions, even for rape and incest. And be sure, if he were to win, he would sign a national abortion ban, which would outlaw abortion in every state, even Nevada.
And that's where your Congress comes and fixes it.
But we are not going to let that happen. Because we trust women.
You know what would be really progressive? If she said people. She won't, because she's conservative in that way. But it would be really dope if she said people. Just a small change would win her so much favor.
And when I am president of the United States and Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedoms, I will sign it into law.
You gotta understand the political double talk, like the fluff, the nonsense. You're not saying anything. When Congress does this, I will sign it. You're okay. She keeps saying this. I need them to get a new line.
So I know the folks who are here. I know the people.
All right.
So much is on the line in this election.
So much is on the line.
And understand, this is not 2016. This is not 2020. This time around, the stakes are even higher.
Yes, they are.
And that's because last month, the Supreme Court of the United States basically told the former president that going forward, he will effectively be immune no matter what he does in the White House.
They also said that for you too. So it seems like it's the same speech. She didn't do anything different. And it's whatever. So thank you for tuning in to Political Theater with Dr. T. I'm sure I will check in again at some point this week. Because I think J.D. Vance has some things, it's a couple events that I can skewer. Because, Harris and Walz, part of their problem is that they're getting stale now. They had all this energy and all this stuff like that. And yeah, people like to come out or whatever, but it is the DNC. So we will be checking in with the DNC. Hit the like button if you're watching on YouTube and subscribe to my channel so you can get notified of these things. Put your alerts on. If you're on Instagram, definitely set your alert for favorite my profile. If you're on Threads, favorite my profile so you can make sure that you see me. It is DNC time coming up, y'all. And so we're going to be prepping for that. There's going to be some interesting demonstrations happening at the DNC, and I can't wait to see how they manage those. So I'll be back later, and I appreciate you all. Thank you to everybody for the Cash App and the Venmo. And if you bought a badge, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Yeah, I know it's not available, and that's the thing. It's because I'm streaming this way, so I might actually, I don't know. I'll figure it out. It's okay. But, you know, totally send $2 to Cash App if you want. Fem Jones, that's great. All right. I'll talk to y'all later.